Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross and I was always told I had a voice for radio, but today I'm going to show you what I consider to be one of the real classic all-time boss battles, Whispy Woods, or as I like to call him, the Kirby Tree Boss. So before we go any further, let's have a look at his very first appearance back in Kirby's Dreamland on the Nintendo Game Boy. So you can see he's fairly simple and straightforward. It's a tree, he drops apples on you and tries to blow little puffs of air at you. You avoid the puffs of air, you try and eat the apples as Kirby does, but Kirby doesn't swallow anything. No, he's far too good for that. He spits them apples back out, right at the boss. And you do that a few times and boom, you the winner. And this boss battle has come around a few times afterwards. Let's, for instance, take a look at his very next appearance in Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Now, the first difference, of course, is that he's finally in colour, and the second difference, which I'm not sure if it was shown that well in that video, but you can actually attack him with other ways. Now you don't have to just eat the apples and spit them back at him. Now you can actually attack him with abilities which Kirby has eaten. So, for instance, you eat the enemy with a sword, you get the sword, you attack the tree boss with the sword. And there's a variety of different abilities you can use. Maybe we can see this best of all by looking at the boss fight as it was in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, or indeed Kirby's Adventure on the Wii, depending on which territory you're in there. So let's have a look at that, and I'm going to be honest with you, I see this as a classic boss battle where you shoot the apples back at him, so I am going to discard the ability quite quickly, but let's just quickly have a look at Kirby's Return to Dreamland, Kirby's Adventure Wii, and you'll see, first of all, he's in 3D now. We can see Whispy Woods in beautifully rendered 3D, well, as good as the Wii can handle, and you can see me attacking him with more than just spitting the apples back. Now, I was going to give you a list of games in which Whispy Woods appears, but it turns out it's actually quicker to give you a list of games in which he does not appear. Kirby's Triple Deluxe. That is it. It's a new or moderately new game for the Nintendo 3DS. Although, to be fair, Flowery Woods does appear in that game, which is an almost identical boss. So let's not get too caught up in that. He appears even in games where he's not actually a boss, like Kirby's Air Ride and Kirby's Dream Course. He does appear in some capacity, has a little bit of a cameo. He even appears as a walk point in Kirby's Tilt and Tumble, a wonderful game for the Game Boy Color, where you actually control Kirby by tilting the Game Boy Color and watching Kirby roll around the level. Although, to be perfectly fair with you, ladies and gentlemen, that game, it really does deserve its own video, so we ain't going to get too deep into that one right now. There are many differences in a lot of the games. In some of the games his roots attack you, and he does get other little little things here and there, other little attacks, little differences, but it would turn into an incredibly long, convoluted video if I was trying to tell you every tiny little thing about every little appearance. I'm focusing on the main kind of boss battle we see here, the one that we've already seen for the Game Boy, for the NES, and for the Wii. But if you want a nice little example of a different kind of boss battle, let's take a look at this battle, his most recent appearance in the new Wii U game Kirby's Power Paintbrush. And by Kirby and the Power Paintbrush, I do of course mean Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush, or depending which country you're living in at the moment, it may indeed be called Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. But it's a nice example of a more unusual Whispy Woods battle. It's one where you draw a little line with your Wii U stylus, Kirby follows the line, and then you tap Kirby and he zooms forward, and that's the way in which you can actually attack Whispy Woods. And I did do a video about Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush. I showed you the best thing about it, that being the Kirby tank, so I heartily encourage, nay demand, that you go and check out that video in the very near future. Now, before we finish off this video today, I want to talk about one injustice, if you will, and that is the fact that Whispy Woods doesn't have his own amiibo. Now, Kirby amiibos outside of Kirby himself, we've got King Dedede, and we've got Meta Knight, both of whom are bosses in Kirby games, although less prolific bosses than Whispy Woods. They turn up a little less often. The reason they've got amiibos, of course, is that they were playable characters in the Smash Bros. Game for Nintendo Wii U, and all playable characters in Smash Bros. Either have already gotten, or will in the near future be getting, their own amiibos to use in the Super Smash Bros. Game. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have a Whispy Woods amiibo. So get yourself on an email to Nintendo, tweet out to whoever's watching, let's see if we can make this happen. And my question for you guys to fill in the comments, did you know that this boss was actually called Whispy Woods, or like me for a very long time, were you just calling him the Kirby Tree Boss? Pop that down in the comments, or include anything else that you want to say about this video down there in the comments. Make sure you like and make sure you have subscribed to Whispy Plays, and if you have already subscribed, your homework is to go and get yourself a friend to subscribe. Until next time, my name's Whispy, and you've been watching Whispy Plays.